Okay, so in the videos you're about to see, I went ahead and recorded some of the salespeople that work for my son Shane, and I wanted to answer some questions about selling high ticket items, closing rates, what's the profit margin, what's it like, what kind of competition do you have? So I wanted to dispel some of the myths that some salespeople out there have when they have a hard time selling at higher margins or higher prices. When you see the success that these four salespeople have had in the high ticket area, in a market that's extremely competitive, by the way, and you'll hear from them about that, as well as a lot of people out there, low prices, a lot of big advertisers out here. So this is a very, very competitive market, and these are for people who had to overcome some head trash too to get where they're at and learn and understand that how to sell at high ticket. And you'll see it. They're having fun, man. They're having a good time selling, and it's not this battle of price. They're getting people stuff that they love. The people really appreciate it. Their closing rate is not 100%. Their closing rates are closer to 50%. So, yeah, they're still losing half of their jobs, but the jobs that they're getting are high margin, high ticket jobs, and they're hitting record numbers left and right. So, listen to this. I think it'll help give you some insight on your sales and your sales approach.
Okay, I'm here with Monica at Vision Flooring. She's the general manager of Vision Flooring now. But I want to talk to you about your sales experience because there's a lot of my clients out here who are hiring new salespeople.
hmm
You've got 5 or 6 new salespeople in here. How much experience do they have in the flooring industry?
Oh, only one out of my six has good flooring
1 out of
experience.
6.
One out of six. Yep.
Okay. So some of the challenges too that some of them are having are dealing with higher prices.
hmm
They're uncomfortable with starting at a 55%
hmm
profit margin. Talk a little bit about that if you would.
Yeah. As with I think any salesperson, they want to sell out of their own pocket. That's what they start doing. I think that's the downside of any salesperson starting out is they always want to sell from their own pocket. They don't realize that their budget is not their customer's budget. And so retraining them is huge. And that's
Yeah.
that's one of the first things we do when they start.
What was it like for you too? Because you went through it.
Yeah, yeah. When I started, I lived in a part of town where I didn't think anybody wanted to spend money, and people that came in that were just browsing, I assumed that they didn't want to see anything, and I think it also has to do with placement. We had certain things placed in certain areas, so I showed what was there, and I just wasn't comfortable. I didn't want to feel like I was cheating somebody. And at the end of the day, I learned, it's not that you're cheating them; you're doing them a disservice by selling
Yeah.
them something cheaper.
So what's it like going in with something that you know is going to be more expensive? It's another thing people are having a hard time with. They're uncomfortable starting with a high-end product,
hmm
knowing that there's something cheaper. Because again, they're kind of selling out of their own pocket or feeling like
hmm
like they're ripping a customer off by selling
hmm
something expensive or
hmm
high end.
So we do a lot of role playing here, and so what we do is I challenge the guys to sell something one or two levels higher than they're comfortable with,
Yeah.
but maybe not as high as I would like them to sell. And what we do is I explain the benefits. It may not be warranties, or it may not be, hey, it's this or that, but why is this carpet so great? Instead of selling the negatives, why don't we sell the positives of this carpet? So that's what we challenge them to do. We do a lot of role playing and encourage selling the positives of this item that's more uncomfortable for
Yeah.
someone to sell.
So primarily the sales in here are carpet, luxury vinyl, right?
Yep.
So you're not selling high end wood. You're not selling really expensive tile projects. What's the average ticket like here?
Our average ticket is actually about 8,500, 9,000.
Yeah, that's crazy high
Mm-hmm.
because most people are, especially a carpet luxury vinyl, they're floating just below 5,000.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
What I see. So, but it must be because we're in a very wealthy neighborhood with no competition.
Nope. Nope. We cover the entire valley, which is a huge radius. We know how big Phoenix metro area is.
Yeah.
It's just I make sure that these guys get out of their comfort zone and understand that it's not selling out of your own pocket. It's not selling in your comfort zone. I mention all the time, when you sell out of your own pocket, you're doing your customers a disservice. You're by selling them something cheap, they may feel like they're saving $1 here and there, but in 3 years when they have to replace it, now they're having to buy it twice. And so now it's twice what they thought they were going to spend. So you're really doing them a disservice. So if you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it again.
So what would you tell those people that say there's just a ton of competition, and in this town, people, they don't spend a lot of money. Everybody in my town is uniquely cheap versus every other town and city in America. So what do you say to those that really believe that?
Well, first, I don't agree, because I used to live in an area that is very frugal.
Yeah.
And if you have the right approach, it doesn't matter what people's budgets are. You just have to find the most important thing to them. We did a sales exercise today about the perception of value. Our guys have a habit of always talking about how our warranties are better than everybody's. And I let them know warranties aren't important to everybody. So find what is important to them. Yeah. People might say, oh, budget is my number one thing. But at the end of the day, is it really their budget? At the end of the day, do they want the cheapest carpet? If you go into someone's house, do they want to feel like, oh yeah, I won because I got the cheapest carpet available? No, they want to feel like they won because they got the nicest looking carpet for the least money. Yeah. The least money doesn't mean the cheapest money. Right. So no matter what area you're in, that does not mean you have to sell the cheapest carpet. Believe me, the area that I started selling out of is a very frugal area in this part of in our city. And if we're able to get $8,000 to $15,000 jobs on that side of town, anybody can do that.
Shane said there's 13 flooring stores within
right
a
here.
couple square miles of this store. And we have Empire and Express, which are two of the biggest that are spending thousands on marketing. And then Floor Daddy is a new one that moved into town. Plus there's a couple more just like them. So the amount of competition is insane. And yet you guys are breaking records. Good systems, good processes. Tell us a little bit about selling in the home. And versus, are you putting a lot of pressure on clients, holding a gun to their head?
Nope. We're not just selling a product, we're selling an experience. We build relationships. We want to obviously sell them a great product, but at the end of the day, we want them to be proud of what they bought. We want them to tell their friends and their family, wow, this was an amazing experience. You need to go and talk to them. Empire and Express are a turn and burn company. They go in, they bring cheap products, and I can tell you what those products are. They always, and I won't, but they bring the same products. And it's, if we have 5 levels, they bring level 1 and 2. That's all they bring. And so if it's budget, they're always going to win, if that's what was the most important. We have those same products, but that's not what customers really want. So when we go and sell in the home, we actually present a list of options. We don't just present them one price. We give them 5. And we have those budget prices that Empire Express, Home Depot, Lowe's, we have those prices. But we give them an entire menu of things to choose from, so that instead of saying, do you want us or Empire, it's do you want us or do you want us? So do you want, which option would you like? Which item on our menu would you like? And then we get into the nitty gritty. When would you like it done? What is most important to you? And so we find what their real objections are by giving them multiple prices.
Do you have any data of what percentage go with the cheapest option versus the most expensive?
I don't statistically, but I can tell you we have 5 different prices, so 1 through 5. I would say a good 70% go with 3 or 4. So out of our 5.
Not the cheapest, but 3.
Nope.
What was the other question? Is one observation that I have made is it seems like when a company's average ticket is higher, that their closing rate is also higher. And when the average ticket is lower, you lose more jobs because you're fighting in that sandbox of price.
And you become more desperate. When you're already, and I tell these guys again regularly, when you're fighting so hard at the beginning for that sale, what's going to happen at the end of that sale? That customer that already is so difficult to work with and is so hard and is so demanding, it's going to be harder later. But when you are in the beginning, when you set your own standard, when you have your own self-respect, because we're here to make money. All of us are here to make money. When you set that standard for yourself, it's going to be so much easier because you've set that baseline for the customer and you've set that baseline for yourself. And so it's just so much easier. And, one of our salespeople has an average of an $11,000 ticket and he has a 62% close rate. So you're absolutely right. He has the highest ticket and the highest close rate. He
Yeah.
does the least amount of work around here. People just think he takes naps all day, but he's closing jobs all day long. So I won't mind if he takes naps.
That's
so.
great. All right, good. Thanks, Monica. I
Yeah,
appreciate
no
it.
problem.
Okay, guys, now I'm here with Marcus. Marcus just started working here how long ago?
What, 3 months ago now? In April?
3 months ago, Vision
Yeah.
Flooring. You have some background in flooring. You're probably one of the only people here that had background in flooring.
Yep.
So the place that you were selling at before, do they tend to be less expensive or more expensive than Vision?
Kind of hard to say. Based on like the geographic area, maybe a little less expensive. But again, the Midwest is a little bit different.
Oh, you came from the
here.
Midwest.
Mhm.
Okay, so you didn't come from a store around here.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So what is it like selling here? Would you say this area is a lot more competitive?
Yes, it is a lot more competitive. There's more people who are able to do it. It
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily even have to be a professional or a store. There's just
Right.
more people in general that just have the ability. Midwest, you focus on the professionals doing it. You don't really worry about it.
Yeah.
You can get people here and there, but yeah, a lot more competition around here.
Okay.
For sure.
What's it like selling higher end products here? Does it intimidate you, or do you have any problem selling something that's more expensive?
No, not at all.
Any guilt? Feel like you're ripping a customer off, or
No. No, I don't think so at all. Honestly, obviously, I listen to the customer. The biggest thing is listening to them, hearing what they want and what they're looking for. So I will bring them exactly what they're looking for. I can give my professional opinion on it, but if they are really like, oh, I want a laminate, I keep showing them LVPs. I'm not doing it any justice. So I'll show them exactly the laminate that they're looking for, the specs, the colors, the style, to make sure I'm giving them what they want, not what I think they should have necessarily.
yeah?
Again, I can give the feedback, but ultimately, I'm the designer. I'm there to help them fulfill what they're looking for.
Most of the salespeople, my clients I work with, they're trying to learn how to sell in the home, sell at higher prices.
Yep.
What's that like for you? Did you before sell in the home?
No, actually, we did not.
You email quotes.
Yep, emailed and called and followed
What's
up.
that experience? Is it putting pressure on customers, or what's that like to try to close in the home? And you're not putting pressure on, you're just giving them an opportunity to buy.
Exactly, yeah. So the biggest thing is qualifying beforehand. You get less pressure in the home, at least they'll feel less pressure in the home if you can qualify correctly before you even get there.
Yeah.
So you can narrow it down from a broad hundreds of LVPs, but if I'm like, hey, you're looking for XYZ, they're like, yes, I want this, this, and this. Cool, I'm only gonna bring this, this, and this. I'm not gonna bring anything else. I'll bring exactly what they were looking for. And then when I'm in the home, I already know you were okay with pretty much any of these that I chose. I sent over pictures, we talked beforehand. Now your hardest job is just to pick out of these 3 or 4. And the likelihood of them doing that is pretty high, especially if they already kind of confirm, like, yeah, any of those would look great, just bring them over so I can see. It's really just qualifying beforehand is the biggest thing that I know a lot of people don't do. They just go, here's our strap set, pick one. No, I'm gonna qualify, I'm gonna get you, again, what you're looking for, colors, style, make it a more personal approach before you get there. And then when we get there, we already have that rapport with them. So it's not pressure, it's just, hey, I'm bringing what you looked for or what you were asking about. Here it is. Are you ready to go?
Do you find it's fairly simple to give customers a price?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Does that make a difference too on your ability to sell? You know, I tell my clients what I want you to do is focus on decorating and having fun. You know, you just need to enjoy it. And the more that it becomes about mechanically selling everything we're doing versus how gorgeous this is going to look.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, so if you're able to have fun. So when you get jobs, what percentage of the time do you think you get in the job because you're the cheapest?
Honestly, probably not much.
No.
Probably pretty much a 0.
Right.
But again, we don't aim to be the cheapest. We aim to bring the best customer service.
Yeah.
You know, like again, we're designers. We're there because they asked us to be there. They want our help.
Right.
Again, I'm not there to sell you. I'm there to educate you and help you make the best decision that fits your needs that you told me.
Great.
Yeah.
Right. All right. Cool. Any advice for people that are learning how to sell in the home, bundle the prices, sell higher average ticket products? Any advice for them to kind of be a little bit more comfortable doing it?
Yeah. I would say listen. Definitely listen to the client, to the customer, listen to the person in front of you. It means if you need to take a step back and just let them tell you, they'll tell you everything you need to know in the first like 30 seconds. And then from there, you take whatever you want from that, hopefully positive things, and then you incorporate that into your feedback or into your return back to the customer. Again, they'll tell you everything they're looking for. Now it's just your job to hone in on that feedback, and then bundle it up for them, and here you go. How does that look? As far as having higher margins, selling at like a higher standard, I'm kind of known for that, honestly. I am. It's really just knowing what we are
Did you
bringing.
ever sell at a low price? I mean, in your sales career, did you ever have, even if it wasn't flooring, a cheaper product or service that you were able to sell?
If it's a cheaper product itself, yeah, of course.
But did you ever like normally sell something ever in your career that, you made the switch from selling cheaper stuff to more luxury items?
Not necessarily, honestly, no. As long as you know the value behind what you're selling, whether it's a service, an item, an object, whatever
You're
it
supposed
is.
to say yes. He's screwing this up. I'm sorry about that.
Whatever it
I want to
is.
say it's actually easier to sell more expensive things
I agree.
than it is to sell cheaper things.
I agree. Yeah.
I know
you don't have to build the
closing
value
rate
as
is
much.
higher, and that's, people don't understand that and think that I've go with companies that the higher the average ticket, the higher their closing rate is.
Exactly.
So, and people are competing and fighting on price and offering discounts and
Exactly.
things like that. But
Yeah. Well, in the end, that kind of just hurts the business, and it hurts your look. Like, okay, cool, I started at 20, and now we got nickel and dimed all the way down to 12. Customers are gonna look at you like, why don't we just start at 12 then if you could have given me that price?
Right.
Again, we're gonna start at a realistic number based on everything you want, and everything incorporated in that will be everything that you need to make sure the job goes smoothly.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pull out bits and pieces to cut corners, and now your job is not 100% complete. Now it's at 85. Now we're cutting corners on 15%. Like whether that's cheaping you on how we're doing the install, whether it's floor prep, whether it's, I just downgraded your material now, you're not getting what you want. Like I'm gonna give you what you want,
Yeah.
So it's just easier to sell if you're just listening to what they want.
All right. Perfect. Thanks, Marcus.
Of
Appreciate
course,
it.
thank you.
All right. I'm here with Jordan at Vision Flooring, one of the newest rock stars. How long have you been here now?
Since February.
February. So it's July. So do the math. 5 months.
Yep.
So any flooring experience or sales experience? Did you have sales experience?
Quite a bit of sales experience.
Okay.
Flooring.
What would you sell before this?
I don't think there's. I think the better question is what haven't I sold before this? I've
Okay.
sold almost anything. Services, products, software, high ticket, low ticket, almost everything. Insurance, all
Okay.
that.
Good. What's easier to sell, high ticket or low ticket?
Man, probably high ticket. Now, I think low ticket for entry level, but high ticket now that when you get comfortable, it's it's a lot less gray areas.
Yeah. So working here, you're obviously in an environment, prices are higher than competition. How's that been for you? I mean, any apprehension of selling high ticket item, competing against people that are just about everybody's? Well, how many jobs have you earned because you were the lowest price?
Very little jobs. What I've been thankful for is that, one, when people get multiple bids, I think people used to think that was a bad thing. I actually don't, because it a lot of times work in our favor because we're able to separate ourselves from the other companies. When they go through their presentations and get their numbers, we have a really good process. We're very transparent and authentic, and I think that's really the core of this sale is letting the customer know there's nothing to hide, and this is the value you're getting, and if you pay this price, this is what you'll get. I'm not trying to promise you anything. This is exactly what you get for this price.
So going in with more expensive things, and you're competing against people that are with lower prices and lower priced items. So what's it like? I've had some salespeople say they have a hard time selling higher average ticket or a more expensive product. What's that been like for you going in a very competitive city?
Absolutely.
What's that like going in with something more expensive? Is that intimidating? How do you feel about that going in?
No, because I truly feel like a lot of the customers are deprived from seeing some of that high luxury stuff because they're always just shopped the cheapest material. So I feel like you do them injustice by not showing them the good stuff.
Yeah.
Because they can always say, no, let's go back down to the regular stuff, which is, totally fine because we don't care anything that's like really bad. But I want them to have the opportunity to see what they can get if they did spend a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Rather than, hey, this is your budget, this is cheap, you want this because it's cheap. And it's like, no, you find out what you want after you see everything, and then.
Did you ever have to deal with that head trash of, like selling out of your own pocket, or like, oh my God, I can't imagine dealing, spending $8, $10, $12, $15,000 or more for flooring. Couldn't imagine spending that kind of money.
I didn't understand how expensive flooring was until I got into the industry.
Yeah.
But then again, we're not as expensive as a lot of the other, like a roof and all that other stuff. Like there are things that are a lot more expensive.
Yeah, but a roof, there's no choice.
Yeah,
you buy a roof
one
because
roof.
you need it.
Yeah.
You buy a new air conditioner because you need it. You don't buy it because you don't like the way it looks.
Yeah.
With flooring, it's a complete choice.
For sure. And it makes it a little bit. It makes it a little bit more of a need when I guess you're selling or buying, or if the floors are completely destroyed. But yeah, I do like the fact that it's a what you want, and if we don't find what you want right now, we can hold off a little bit so you have a little bit more to get what you want.
Yeah.
That's kind of my.
How about financing? How does that play a role in it?
Oh, financing is great for people that do want what they want but can't afford it right now. Shoot, I finance quite a bit. Well, I guess when I was younger, I haven't had anything to finance recently, but I understand the power of financing. It definitely helps.
What's your current average ticket, do you think?
I think it's like 11.
11,000. Wow. Mostly selling carpet and luxury vinyl, correct?
Absolutely.
So those aren't really high-end products, not like wood or tile. You're not doing the high-end projects, you're selling lower price
products,
items within the flooring industry with such a huge average ticket. Because most people are around $5,000 when it comes to carpet luxury vinyl. So,
and it's because they're not showing them the stuff that they could actually spend money on. Just because it's carpet and vinyl doesn't mean it has to be cheap.
Would you say you're beating the competition with higher prices?
Absolutely. Well, they're beating themselves. They're coming in low and they're not doing a good job. So, again, it's not let's find the cheapest florist now or flooring company. It's let me find the best one, and then the price kind of comes after when they go through that initial.
What would you say to a salesperson dealing with a little head trash of, man, that's expensive, I can't sell that stuff, or I almost feel guilty about it, or I feel like I'm ripping people off? Or
I would say do more research on the product so you know actually what you're selling. Because if you, in your heart, feel like you're selling somebody something that's too expensive, that means you probably don't know too much about it.
Yeah.
But if you know what you're selling them, the price should justify itself. Especially when you know what they're getting shown by everybody else. It's almost like if you go to a used car shop and they show you everything that has 100,000 miles, it's like, well, we have some new cars in the back. You might as well show them just to see if they want a new car.
Yeah.
And if they don't, then we can go back to the used cars. But you got to be able to show them, man.
Right.
And I get excited about the new products or the higher end products too, because, I don't know why, but it seems like everyone kind of looks for a cheap project, which doesn't always, the majority of the time, doesn't end up well. So, material is half the project. If you get a bad material, somebody can install it, great, but it's still a low quality material, so it only lasts so long. So you kind of want to hit both on the head. Good material, good install.
Now, are you having fun?
Oh my gosh, so much fun. And mainly because I'm learning so much. Like I'm not an installer, right? But I learned so much about the whole process every new project that I work on.
Yeah. So things are getting better and better, huh?
Yes.
All right, great, good. Appreciate you doing this.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man.
All right. Okay, do that line again. I'm here with Big John Bodek. Anybody I'm standing next to is considered big, except for Shane. All right, then we got through that. So, started with Vision Flooring about 2 years ago. Any experience in flooring?
Construction, yes. Sales,
Or sales, yeah.
no sales.
Just some
before this.
construction.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, were you installer?
Installer, yeah.
Oh.
Many different things, not flooring specific though, but
Oh,
touched on
okay.
everything.
Just worked in construction.
Yeah.
So what was the learning curve like trying to learn how to sell flooring?
Heck, just being on the other side of it, honestly, learning how to listen to people. Because I'm not there just plugging in my headphones and working away. I'm sitting there listening to their people's needs and finding out what's a good fit. Because before this, it was like floor is floor. Apparently it's not. There's a lot more in it than I expected.
And it's expensive, right? Took you a little time to get comfortable with selling at high prices, right?
Yeah, I mean, my perception of expensive is somebody else's cheap, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's a lot of it was getting out of my own way of thinking. What does expensive mean to somebody else?
That's it. The head trash. How do you get rid of that head trash and being intimidated at selling at higher prices?
I'm not the one buying it at the end of the day. I think the really biggest thing is if people are in the market to buy a floor for their new home, you're not going to put a little bit of money in your own home. That's as simple as it is. You're going to invest something big. Once I realized people want a quality product, they want to put something in their home they can trust.
Yeah.
My own money went out of the picture. This is their own money. They're doing something proper. It's the price is the price at the end of the day.
What's your average ticket been
Heck.
recently?
Over double digits, I'd say. So over 10,000. I think my average right now is about 9,000 or so.
And your closing rate?
Over 50%.
Over 50%. Would you say your closing rate is higher with a higher average ticket?
Yeah, actually, I would say so.
Yeah,
I'd say so.
that's one thing we found is lower average ticket produces a lower closing rate. Now, some of the people, some of my clients are particularly having a hard time selling higher end or starting with a higher end product. That feeling of I'm ripping a customer off, or I'm just not comfortable because I'm selling out of my own pocket. What's it like to bring in a luxury item product, and knowing that your prices are going to be pretty high?
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm trusting in people's abilities. I qualify them. I'm learning about how long they're spending the time in their home. If they're putting down a brand new floor in a home they plan to live in 20 plus years, I need to get the thought out of my head, oh, they want to save some money. No, if they're looking for long term, there's long term solutions. Doing it right costs money. Getting a good product costs money. I got to step away from, this price might be too high for them when I put it together. No, the price is the price. To do it right, to get a good product, it costs money, and that's simply the only way it is.
What's a job that you've been beat by with the biggest margin, but you got the job anyway?
Margin talk, from the biggest margin perspective or profit perspective?
Profit or dollar amount. What's like, we just had a client in Cottonwood got beat by $17,000 and he got the job.
Yeah,
so 3 other companies were that much cheaper.
Yeah, I think most recently it was a $48,000 job that I won, and we were over by almost 15,000.
15,000.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's crazy.
It really is. It really is.
But with the good, what do you credit that to? The process, the system. You're not bad mouthing your competition.
No.
But it's just overall a better process and system. What would you credit that to?
Knowledge and reading the clients. I mean, him and his father, they know floors, they know construction. So when they start asking me the questions about the product, about the warranties, about how it's going to go in, I could comfortably tell them exactly how the process is going to go, what to expect, what's unexpected, and where to go from there. The other guys couldn't. The others couldn't handle half the questions that they were asking me. Ultimately,
you're killing half my presentation, which says you don't have to know about all that stuff. There are times it's not bad to be the expert and go in there. But, and that brings me to another point. How important is it, or do you find you rely on that a lot? But, how often do you, I've got another client that says, he is a very well-known installer, very good installer, been doing it his whole life. And he says he needs his knowledge about twice a year, it seems like, that he's just selling the decorating, how beautiful it's going to be. And he's kind of surprised how little he has to rely on.
That is fair. On the other side of it, it really is a matter of they tell me what they want to do with their home, and I provide them with a good fitting product for that. I don't want to push them in the cheapest route. I don't want to push them to something to sell them on something they don't need.
Right.
I'm candid, I'm transparent, I'm honest with them about here's a good fit for you, here's a good color for you, here's how it's going to work for what you're telling me you need. If I find them a perfect fit and it's an actual clear fit for them, why are they going to tell me no? If I'm giving them exactly what they want and it's going to last exactly as long as they need, it's finding the right fit ultimately.
Did you ever have because starting off here, did you ever have the experience though of going from emailing quotes to closing in the home?
Yes. Yeah. That was, it was weird for me asking for the sale, to be honest. It was. I I put too low pressure on myself to the point where I gave them an out. I guess I could say, oh,
Yeah.
no pressure. You don't need to. We'll talk again tomorrow. The moment I started saying, oh, I don't need to be a shark in their face saying, oh, buy today, buy today. If I give them their needs
Right.
and I'm asking them in there, are you ready to move forward? It's as simple as that. Ask them, are you ready to move forward? And just sit with it.
Right. I always say give them an opportunity to buy now.
Yes.
Not closing in the home. It's simply give them the scope of work, what they're doing, and the price.
Yeah.
They need that to make a decision.
Yeah.
So give them that opportunity now.
Oh yeah, because if I don't give them the ability to even say
Yeah.
no, they might not want to ask for a yes. They might want to say, oh yeah, I do want to move forward. I need to present them with the possibility of getting this process going.
What percentage of jobs do you close because you're the cheapest?
None.
None.
None. Never.
What's the competition like in this area? Is it there's not much? The people are used to paying more, or how would you describe this area? Especially before this experience, how would you have described this area as far as the competitiveness and maybe cheapness of the people in this area?
You know, I don't want to bash on any other companies. If we're comparing apples to apples,
Well, not companies even. I'm not talking about the companies being cheap. I'm talking about just your perception of clients
yeah.
not being able to afford a lot or not willing to spend a lot of money in this area. Like, there's no way I could sell at those prices in this.
That was my own head, because I've been proven wrong so many times. If I think, oh, you know, coming up to a home, if I see a home or there's so many things. I'm open to be proven wrong. It doesn't mean I'm going to do my presentation differently or show them different items. If I start judging the book by my cover, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot right away. You know, people are going to ask for what they want. As long as I give them the right fit, the price is the price at the end of the day. You pay for good quality. You pay for a job done right. If that's what they want, that's what it costs.
Yeah. Any advice for people they got some head trash, man? It's hard to sell at higher prices. The belief system is this area is uniquely cheap, or I've got more competition in this area than you probably do in Phoenix, Arizona, which
we got a lot of competition still. There's a bunch of flooring stores for us in the area, right? At the end of the day, if I'm qualifying properly and I'm really listening to my client, I need to be asking the questions. If I'm not asking questions, if I'm trying to talk over and explain why we're the best fit, I'm doing something wrong. I need to find out, what do they want? What are they looking to get out of this? Why are they coming to me? Every little why matters before I can even get to the point where I know what to present.
Yeah.
At that point, it's not even a matter of price. We're not the cheapest, and I'm doing great. I can sell over 50% of the people, right?
Yeah.
It's not a matter of cost. It's a matter of qualifying them properly and giving them what they want.
Had a hard time getting him over here because he was closing a $22,000 job. So
there we go. 23 as a matter of fact.
23, sorry. That's a little commission left on the table there. All right, John, appreciate it. Thank you.
Jerry. Thanks so much.